And in between all that good stuff, you see Costa in the middle. Kovac is the one that Costa is currently helping. You Shiels on the far. Shiels got some longer hair right now. It might be time for a haircut. I don't know, maybe not. And then we've got on the other side Victory in the middle and his two teammates as well. So we are set up. We are good to go for round number 4 here.
So though he may have had your number, Bobby Victory.
Are there any Tormented Souls in that deck?
No. He's playing Boros.
He'd probably crush me with that,
No, you're looking for a Boros fight. This looks like a heroic red-white deck. Pretty much.
This is what I wanted.
Yeah, it has Dauntless Onslaught.
Okay.
So that's the double targeter in whites. It has Coordinated Assault, the double targeter in red, and it is all about targeting creatures. It is playing, for enablers. It has Dauntless Onslaught, Coordinated Assault, 2 Titans Strengths. It's playing an Ordeal, the white Ordeal, and then creatures it's targeting with heroic. It has the favored hoplite, Wingsteed Rider, Phalanx Leader, Arena Athlete, among others, all with heroic in the deck.
You want some heroic, and Victory has some. So does Costa as well. Costa has 2 Phalanx Leader in his deck. He also has a card. I'm going to spoil it for you. He has Triton Tactics. So get excited.
Oh, I'm excited about that.
All right.
I like the white-blue heroic deck more right now.
He also has 2 copies of Wingsteed Rider as well. So he's definitely got some heroic going on. But right now you don't see any planes for Costa. You're going to see 2 Vaporkins and an island and pass the turn back. Again, Costa's mana base is 10 planes, 7 islands. So just a bit of color difficulty right now for him.
Yeah, it looks like he does have a Wingsteed Rider in his opening hand, but he really kept it based on the strength of these 2 Vaporkins. This is going to be somewhat difficult for Victory to race. But if he is able to do it, it'll probably be on the backs of this guy.
Yeah, Phalanx Rider is going to show up to the party. Pass the turn back, just a little meager 2-mana 1/1. As here comes Costa in the air for 4 points. Going to knock Victory down to 14. Matt did draw a plains for the turn, so we'll see if he has a white card that he can cast, and he does.
Yeah, that's going to just a 3/2 right now, as he does not control an enchantment. I believe that's Laguna Band Elder.
Yeah, super easy to pronounce.
Laguna Band Elder. Just a 3/2 though. Looks like his deck's really just about curving out.
Yeah, I mean, he's just an aggressive deck. He does have tricks, of course, 2 copies of God's Willing. He does have a Dauntless Onslaught as well. He's got a Newell if he needs to be reactive. He has a Griptide as well. So, his deck is just a blue-white tempo aggressive deck.
He actually has a pair of Phalanx Leaders in his deck.
Yeah, he's got 2, yeah. So he can get pretty heroic here. Doesn't have he doesn't have like Triton Force Hunter or Wave Crash Triton as far as some of the blue heroic creatures are involved. Or concerned, excuse me, but again, his deck is still just aggressive with tricks. Something that we've seen be very, very good over the course of Magic history.
So he's really just playing the blue, it looks like, then, for just the curved creatures and the Triton Tactics. But it's mostly a white deck.
Yep. Again, 10 swamps, 7 islands. He's at least 1 plains is fine. Excuse me, 10 plains, 7 islands, and a plains has shown up.
So he's the Arena Athlete. That's the second heroic creature for Bobby. But as you see, neither of these decks are really set up to block at all.
Yeah. Bobby looks like he's going to cast a spell here. He's going to attack with a 1/1, and he is going to cast a Battle-Wise Valor. So +2/+2, and an encounter. So he's actually going to come across here for 4 points, and he's going to scry, see if he's going to put it to the top or the bottom once he consults his hand here.
Yeah, Phalanx Leader is difficult to race against. Costa did start out, because he started out 2 creatures ahead. I think he may have enough to do it, but it will still be pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, this can be pretty scary depending on, especially how the scry kind of ends up, because Victory got off the ground a little bit slow here. Costa's been ahead the whole time. With the Vaporkins, you see him just draw his card, not even add it to his hand, and gets in with everybody. Arena Athlete's going to go in front of the 3/2. They're going to trade off. Costa, there's a plains. Big draw there.
And Wingsteed Rider.
Yeah.
So just more creatures, more flyers.
That's a big draw, being able to have that second white mana, put Wingsteed right into play, keep the pressure on in the air. Makes it the racing thing that you're concerned about looks like it's still in favor of Costa right now.
Yeah, Bobby's going to have some way to deal with flyers. Like I said before, I don't think his deck's really well equipped to do it. He has almost no removal in his deck. He does have Labyrinth Champion, so if he can manage to get that guy online, Labyrinth Champion is a rare that shocks things when it's targeted. That could maybe pull him back. But even now, he's at too low of a life total, I think, for that even to stabilize him.
Wingsteed Rider is going to get in front of a Vaporkin. Doesn't want to block the other Wingsteed Rider in case Costa has a trick. Kind of ruins his entire plan. See Costa going to go reaching for mana after putting Victory down to 6. Second main phase, he's got a Battle-Wise Hoplite. and it's going to pass the turn back.
Yeah. Looks like his last card is also a Phalanx Leader of his own, so tons of heroic.
Yep.
All 2s and 3s. The Battle-Wise Hoplite's one of the better heroic cards.
That card's awesome. I mean, you got a 2/2 for 2. Yes, it's a little bit difficult to cast, but targeting with heroic and resolving it is just fantastic. You have +1/+1 counter. Scrying is super good. Just everything that you would want out of a heroic creature. It's worth, stretching your mana to be able to cast this.
Right.
Victory going to tap 4 mana.
Yeah, and that's Hopeful Eidolon.
Okay.
That actually gives lifelink to the Phalanx Leader.
It's going to turn into a 4/4 right now.
Yeah, very hard to race against lifelink, so he needed a way to pull back in this race, and he may have found it with Hopeful Eidolon.
See if Costa can find, he's got the mana to cast the Phalanx Leader. See if he can find a spell to go along with it.
I believe he found a Grip Tide. I'm not positive, but
that's
good.
scary if he did.
That's good right now. I believe that's what he's found.
Well, if he doesn't cast a Phalanx Rider, then that's definitely what he found. Now, I think what he's considering right now is, do I cast it now or do I wait? The reason he's questioning if he should cast it now is because of a card like God's Willing, where if he doesn't Grip Tide now, then he gets blown up by God's Willing, giving it protection from blue.
But if he casts it now, then Hopeful Eidolon can attack him.
Yes. So there's a definite decision to make, and you see that he's talking with Shiels about the decision. What would you do in this spot?
I think you want to just Grip Tide it. The penalty for getting blown up by God's Willing is, just for me, too high right now.
Okay. And penalty is a very good word to use because it is a huge penalty if you do get blown out, and he is going to Grip Tide it right now. So I think he spoke with Shiels about the play. They come to the same conclusion. He will Grip Tide the Phalanx Leader back on top. In comes the Hopeful Eidolon. So he does get to attack with it this turn, does Victory. We'll see if he can get in for more than one.
Well, so the significant part is by letting Victory gain 1 life here, he's giving Victory another entire turn.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's not just 1 life, it's a turn.
Yep.
So that matters.
Regardless, Grip Tide, a very good draw there from Costa. He was certainly going to be in some trouble. So now it's on Victory to try to turn this back around here. We know he does have a spell to play in the Phalanx Leader, and we know he does have a 1/1 lifelinker to come across with, but everything else is unknown. You see a quick update here on the top shelf. James is up a game over Dave Shiels, so the team of, Kandziolka? Kandziolka, Victory, and Eshgy are currently up right now. See Titan Strength. +3, +1, and Scry, so he's going to be able to get across for 4. Victory is going to go up to 8, and Costa going to go down to 6. Now Phalanx Leader as well, post-combat.
All right.
He's put up a fight here.
Yeah, the Titan Strength really strong here. Gives him a little bit of extra maneuvering. I think he does not want to have to chump with the Phalanx Leader, and that has allowed him to do that.
Yep. Costa's going to come in here. Now, the question is, does he chump or does he not chump? The thought process can be, I can't beat a spell anyway, so I'm just going to hope that you don't have one to go down to 2.
Really depends on what's in his hand. I mean, he would love to get a 1/1 counter on that Hopeful Eidolon.
Yeah.
He'd like to be able to really represent the possibility of swinging back for lethal, and he probably won't be able to do that without Phalanx Leader.
Decisions.
My guess is he takes everything.
Yeah, I think he might be in the situation now where it's I can't beat a combat trick anyway. Like a card like Battle-Wise Valor, for example. It's I'm not beating it if you have it, if I'm blocking or if I'm not blocking. So I just have to hope you don't have a trick right now.
Yeah, if it was a trade, he might make the block, but it's not a trade. It's a chump block.
Yeah. So Victory is going to go down to 2. Costa's going to play a Phalanx Leader of his own and pass the turn back as Victory is going to draw a card. He's going to, wow, a quick attack.
What he's supposed to do. So he's got to be worried about Coordinated Assault.
Man, that was a fast attack. 4 mana, what is this?
4 mana is going to be Titan Strength Coordinated Assault.
Jeez.
That's going to get it.
That's
so
unreal.
It's a pump of 5 right there.
So Victory immediately, no blocks, gets in there, attacks 4 lethal with a double trick, and is going to be up a game over Matt Costa. You see on the bottom as well, Pat Eshgy up a game over Chase Kovac. So the team of James, Robert, and Pat dispatching the team of Shiels, Costa, and Kovac very quickly.
Yeah, so that put Costa in an awkward situation because presumably he'd want to hold back the Battle-Wise Hoplite there because he can but because Hopeful Eidolon still gains 1 life, he had to swing it so that it would still be a 2-turn clock.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't think Costa doesn't really have the ability to play around double pump spells.
I don't think so either. Especially, I think the The Dauntless Onslaught was going to ruin him, like, almost no matter what he did.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the troublesome one here.
Because he has the lifelink.
Yeah. So let's play a game. You want to play a game with me?
All right.
Let's play the Gray Merchant of Asphodel game, because we've not looked to see where those are at yet.
I don't even... I shudder to think. Whose deck has them? Shiels'?
Shiels has... He's playing black. He has one in his sideboard. Unreal.
Kandziolka's playing black, has none in his pool.
Wow. None?
None.
Anywhere.
0.
All right, some honest magic, I suppose.
Yeah, we actually get to play. Kandziolka's deck is just some guys. It has two, it's Minotaurs. It has 2 Kragma Warcallers, so that's the uncommon Minotaur Lord. And actually has a fair number of Minotaurs. It has 2 Borderland Minotaurs. It has 2 Fellhide Minotaurs. It has 2 Minotaur Skull Cleavers. It's got a lot of Minotaurs.
Shields going to cast Commune with the gods here.
So we see that Nemesis of Reason and the Howl. Was it the Night Howler?
Yeah, the Night Howler.
The Night Howler, both there. Both cards that work really well with the graveyard-based strategy. Be interesting to see which one he goes for. Can't imagine he's taking Messian Asp.
Commune with the gods, much like a Grizzly Salvage type card. We've seen cards like this be very good in the past. I don't think this one's any different. I think a lot of the time, I think a heavy amount of the time you're going to play this card.
Well, should we take the Night Howler, which is now a 2/2, instead of taking the Commune with the Nemesis of Mortals?
Mm-hmm. Night Howler, pretty good card too.
Yeah, Night Howler is one of the cards I think people have seen with some constructed application. People weren't really sure how good it is yet, but it has potential.
So here comes the Minotaur Skull Cleaver. There's Battlefield, +2/+0. Target itself, come across for 4.
And let's remember, really a Minotaur deck for James is what he's playing. He has a lot of Minotaurs and some removal. So he also has the Rageblood Shaman, which is the rare, to go with the 2 Kragma Warcallers.
So he's got a pretty nice Minotaur deck.
He has a pretty nice Minotaur deck. He does not have the 2-drops.
I'm glad to see Minotaurs back in the spotlight, by the way.
Yeah.
As far as the creature types go, it's been a long time since Minotaurs. And they're actually respectable right now, I would say.
And this is Mogus's Marauder. Kind of one of the more interesting cards in the set. It is a 2/2 that when it enters the battlefield, X creatures get haste and intimidate, where X is your devotion to black. It's kind of just a 2/2 haste.
I thought Shields might trade, and he is. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't attack with it. He could have just swung it.
Yeah, sure.
It gives itself haste.
I was curious if and this is, if you know Shields at all, which I know you're testing him for the Pro Tour. The man likes to play defensive Magic.
Yeah,
he really does. So trading is just something that Dave would want to do there.
Right, and we see Ill-Tempered Cyclops.
Hill Giant with upside.
Yeah,
3/3 for 4. Monstrosity 6. Gets a little bit bigger, gets a little bit stronger. So I'm going to go back to Shields' turn now.
James is doing a good job of keeping Shields on the defensive.
Yeah.
But granted, with that black-green deck, that's what Shields wants to be doing. We see cards in his hand, like that Night Howler, like Lash of the Whip, and he also has Farika's Mender, which are cards that are really good at drawing out grindy games. And I think that really is going to be his game plan.
This is a position that I think Shields is very comfortable being in, playing a defensive, more reactive game, trading his creatures back and forth, that sort of thing. I think that's exactly what he wants to do. It looks like, him being down a game wasn't able to accomplish that, obviously. As we see, the Night Howler's a 4/4 right now.
Yeah, that's so kind of plays into the fact that those 2 guys traded last turn.
And again, the thing with Night Howler is, don't forget, it's number of creature cards in all graveyards, not just yours.
Right.
So aggressive. I mean, this is. I mean, we're looking at a 3-mana creature, but bestow cost is actually pretty reasonable and attainable. This looks like a pretty good card in this set.
It depends on how many creatures hit the graveyard. When you can commune with the gods into Night Howler, the card's fantastic.
Yeah.
Without that commune, this would be a 2/2 right now, which is not very impressive. I think certainly once you get one on turn 8, it's going to be really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
The question is how early can you make it good?
All right, so there's our 2/2 first striker.
Yep.
From Kandziolka.
Yeah, Spear Point Oread. He does not save it to bestow, probably because on 6 mana he just assumed Monstrous, the Ill-Tempered Cyclops.
Yeah. Shields going to draw a card. Looks like he drew a land. He's got a forest and a swamp hiding out there among his spells. So he wants to navigate this turn and future turns moving forward.
Yep, he does have the Lash of the Whip and Farika's Mender. I believe there's some more action in there, but also a fair number of lands. Oh, it looks like it's actually Reverend Hunter. So that's a green rare. I believe that's in his list.
That Reverend Hunter is hiding out. That's the Devotion rare.
Yeah, so it's the 1/1 that gets a 1/1 counter, right? As you see here, that's the third spell in his hand. Not a very strong play right now. It would just be a 2/2. That card actually has the potential to get really large. I was pretty impressed with it when I have seen it in play so far.
I've seen people working on this card in Constructed, and with cards like Burning Tree Emissary, that card can get really big really fast. A lot of the time you're looking in the 3-mana 4/4. I mean, it's a hard to build Loxodon Smiter, but it can be bigger than Loxodon Smiter as well. So it's a pretty interesting card. Also, a bit easier to cast too.
Definitely easier to cast.
So there's a Lash of the Whip. Whip.
So Shiels has made an interesting play here, where he decided to cast Lash of the Whip just right now, as opposed to waiting until Kandziolka tries to monsters it. Yep. It shows that Shiels is transitioning from defensive to offensive.
Yep.
You know, he's doing it now so he can pump Night Howler and just swing 5.
Yes, yeah. Now he's looking at a 5/5 here. Now Kandziolka, he could block with a 2/2 First Striker. Is there a trick that he could have?
I mean, Lightning Strike is
the one. Okay.
Yeah,
and he
it's
has it.
happen.
Jeez.
That's certainly was an aggressive line taken by Shiels. Maybe too aggressive. He does have the Freaka's Mender, so he's going to be able to grind. If this game gets grindy, Shiels will be just fine with that.
I'm a little surprised to see Dave make that attack, especially when a common trick just blows him out there. It's not like it's an uncommon or a rare. All it takes is a common to kind of ruin him here. Is now Kandziolka's going to get back on the aggressive and attack for 6 and put Shiels down to 10.
Right, so Shiels just with 2 cards left. It's the Freaka's Mender and the Reverend Hunter. Draws, I think, another land, so...
Mender's base stats are a 4/3.
It's a 4/3 Gorgon. Yep. And it's a Gravedigger, so it gets a creature from the graveyard.
Actually, I mean, it stands tall in this battlefield.
It's just a great card.
Yeah. You see Shiels taking a look through his graveyard, deciding what he wants to bring back right now. I would be surprised if Mender is not the play for this turn.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably Nemesis of Mortals that he brings back. I'm not sure what the mana cost is on Nemesis at this point. It's low is the answer. It's either Night Howler or Nemesis.
So there's the Mender. But what to buy back?
Nemesis will quickly become a 10/10. Night Howler gives you Bestow.
Nemesis Immortal is another card that's looking pretty impressive right now too.
Yeah, I mean, even as just a 5/5 or 6, it's a pretty decent card. The fact that it can be a 5/5 for 4 or other things really makes I like the card a lot because of just the potential it has.
Yeah. And it kind of promotes what Dave Second wants to do, which is trade a bunch in combat, and then Nemesis Immortals comes down for cheaper, and then it grows for cheaper and can finish the game off that way. It's just like a nice game-ending threat for him, and that's exactly what he's going to bring back, is the Nemesis of Mortals before passing the turn back to Kandziolka. See if Kandziolka has a removal spell or not. He's reaching toward his mana pretty quickly. He does have a swamp in his hand, but again, if he did have a removal spell, I think that Mender would be gone by now, and he'd be in the red zone.
Yeah, I would put Shiels down to 6. Remember that Kandziolka has a lot of Minotaurs energy in his deck, so Shiels has to watch out for a lot of surprise damage, I would say. The Kragma Warcallers, basically +2/+0 the Minotaur half of the team. Rage Blood Shaman gives them all 1/1 and trample as well.
This is a pass back. If you're Dave Shiels,
you are fist pumping in your head right now.
Yes, you are.
Glad that you're still at 10.
That is a deep sigh of relief for him. Now he gets to untap and now make some decisions here. Doesn't mean Kandziolka's on empty, but he certainly didn't have a removal spell to take care of your Mender. So Mender standing tall, and that means any other big threats that you play are probably really good right now too.
We will be holding that.
So creatures in the graveyard. He has
right out in front of the hall.
The Mogus's Marauder. He has the Night Howler. He also has the Nessian Asp. So the Nemesis Immortals costs 3 to play and 6 to monsters. So 9 total. He can't do it all in one turn, but he's 2 mana short. I think he swings now because if Kandziolka makes the trade, decides to double block it, then Dave can play Nemesis. No, he can't because he doesn't have quad green. So
sure.
I was going to say he would have enough colorless mana to make a play it and monsters it, but he wouldn't actually be able to do it.
Shiels getting on the aggressive here. He's going to knock Kandziolka down to 16. We'll see what he's going to play in a second main phase, and it is going to be the Nemesis of Mortals. Now, my question for you is going to follow up here with the Reverend Hunter, and going to grow that a little bit here is... In the situation that Shiels was in a little bit earlier, my first thought was, okay, Kandziolka didn't play anything. How can I lose this game?
The last card he has looks to be Nylea's Disciple.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it is Nylea's disciple. Or no, yeah, Nylea. So that's even better, which actually gives him a lot more latitude to work with.
It's more life.
Yeah, it's more life. So he actually can picture himself somewhere around 14 or 15 life here.
The question I was going to ask you, though, is, you know, how can Shiels lose this game? The thing I would immediately think of from a red-black deck is what kind of threat effects are there in the format?
There is a 4-mana threaten that scries for 1
Okay.
in the format. And it's a common, so you have to be aware of that Portent of Betrayal.
Got it.
The trick that turns out that Kandziolka does have, other than having a lot of lands, he does have Rescue from the Underworld right now. Which is good, typically, especially because of the number of enter the battlefield effects that black has. This actually is a candidate for one of the best uncommons in the set. Just because, 1, it's very powerful, and 2, black's full of enter the battlefield effects. But right now, it's not very good for him.
So Shiels goes a reaching again.
This set could be a 10-10 if Kandziolka does not block.
He might be getting there with everybody. He is getting there with everybody, as we do see that Robert Victory did win game number 2, and so did Pat Eshgy. So wow.
The match is done.
Wow, that's insane. Victory, Eshgy, and Kandziolka have already won this match. As you see Shiels coming across in the red zone. Don't even know if he's been informed of that yet from his teammates.
Oh, he probably knows.
But now Rescue of the Underworld is going to get cast.
He played some Teen Seals, you know, his 2 teammates are now next to him. You know, hey, we lost.
You know he's going to finish it off, at least this game, get the practice in.
Yep. Sacrifice the Spear Point Oread, targeting Ill-Tempered Cyclops. And Nylea's Disciple. Gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 life.
That's a lot of life. That's a lot of life to be gaining. Disciple looks really good. At common, too. So it's a 3/3 for 4. So it's basically a Hill Giant with, again, upside. I keep saying that, but it seems like all the Hill Giants have upside in this format.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. Had a discussion whether or not this card was better than Nessian Courser. And it's close.
That's an interesting question. Courser just being a 3/3 for 3, 2 and a G to cast, versus this one actually just gain life. Yeah, it's actually pretty tough here. So you see Kandziolka is going to concede the game. So we're going to go essentially to a third and final game. We'll see if these players are going to keep playing or not.
So we saw earlier a pair on the table. They didn't play out the third game. It doesn't look like these guys are going to either. You'd say, why don't they play for tie breaks? The first tiebreaker in these kind of tournaments is the combined record of your opponents, not your individual game record. And it's very unlikely. And by very unlikely, I mean it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it will not happen. Yeah, the first tiebreaker matters.
That would go to another tiebreaker.
So they're going to pack it up, pack it in. That means the team of James Kandziolka, Robert Victory, and Pat Eshgy are moving on to 4-0, handing Dave Shiels, Matt Costa, and Chase Kovac their first loss.
In convincing fashion, nonetheless.
Yeah, this looks like quite the beatdown that took place here. Back here in the booth, Cedric Phillips, Matthias Hunt, Star City Games Open Series here in Worcester, Massachusetts. I mean,